When you think discipline, what comes to mind? I need to grind. I need to work hard. I need to get it done. That's truly what most people think about. But in today's video, we're going to talk about not just how to be disciplined as a teen or young adult, even when you don't feel motivated, but how to be devoted. When you think devotion, what comes to mind? Most people, if you're Christian, for example, would be morning devotionals. I am devoted to my love of a higher power. I am devoted to this goal. I am devoted to this relationship. It is something that we do out of love. Whereas with discipline, it's usually something that we do out of force, out of I have to make myself do it. Whereas devotion is even on the day when I don't feel like doing something, I do it because I love what it's building in me. I love this journey. I love what I'm creating. So, firstly, how do we become more devoted to our goals? How do we shift ourselves from needing motivation to do it to doing it even when we don't feel like it? Number one, make a Google Calendar, please. You would be surprised at how much more you can get done, how much more committed you'll become to your goals, how much more you'll be able to show up even when you don't feel like it. When you have a simple schedule, when you know what do I need to do, when am I going to do it? From 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., I have school. From 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., I have my after school job. So if I want to go to the gym, when do I have to do it? Either I have to do it at 6 a.m. You might not be able to wake up by that time. You might not be able to go to the gym by that time. Or I have to do it on my days off where I don't have my after school job. You know, most teenagers do not work 7 days a week during high school. Or you could go from 4 p.m. to like 4:30 p.m. and then go to work after. And the point is this. When you know what you need to do and when you need to do it, and you have a simple reminder that tells you to do it, you're more likely to do it because you don't want to break your word to yourself. After enough time of doing this, you start to build this little muscle of, I can get it done even when I don't feel like it. I show up even when I don't feel like it. I don't need motivation because I'm not doing this off of force, off of grind. I'm doing this off of a love. I'm doing this off of I love myself, so I keep my word to myself. I am honest with myself, so I'm not going to tell myself the night before, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, but not do it. That's lying to yourself. When you love yourself, you are able to stay more honest. You're able to stay more committed. This is why in relationships where two people deeply love each other, there's a lot less cheating because they love one another. When you love someone or you love something, you commit to it. You stay dedicated. Because the difference between discipline is something you have to force. Dedication is something that you do regardless. So instead of trying to be disciplined and grind, we want to be devoted. We want to be dedicated. We want to stay committed. And having a time commitment, having a what am I going to do commitment, when am I going to do it, saves you so much time and energy. Because one of the things that I say in a lot of my videos is our brains are like wet supercomputers. They want things to be easy. Everything that you do can be traced back to avoiding some sort of pain and getting some sort of pleasure. That pain could be the pain of trying to figure out, when am I going to do that thing? It's like building a house. Imagine trying to build a house, but you have no blueprint. Imagine trying to build a skyscraper with no blueprint, no instructions, no who is going to do what, no order. You just be guessing the entire time. I'm going to put a little bit over there, a little bit over there. Maybe I'll put a door right there. And at the end, you have something that is a mess because you had no structure. You had no blueprint. Your schedule, your Google Calendar is your blueprint. It is your day-by-day plan. It is your day-by-day routine. It helps keep you accountable. Secondly, like I said, because our brain wants the most pleasure for the least pain, we want to avoid making the goal or the thing we need to do. We want to avoid making that more painful in our head than it has to be. I'll give you a great example. Imagine waking up, I got to get out of bed, and then I have to walk out of my room. Then I have to go down the hallway, open up the door, go inside the bathroom, grab my toothbrush, put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, turn on the water, scrub my teeth, scrub them again, put water in my mouth, spit out the toothpaste, brush my teeth again, make sure I get all the plaque out. Then I have to floss, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do that, and then I have to turn the water off, and then I have to close the door and turn the lights off. You see how hard I just made brushing your teeth? That's what most people do when it comes to going to the gym. They think, I gotta get out of bed, and then, I'm gonna have to go all the way to the gym, and then I'm gonna be sweaty, and then I'm gonna have to, take a shower, and then I'm gonna have to change my clothes, and then I'm gonna have to do this, and this, and this, and this, and we make it so big, bad, and scary in our head that it stops us from starting. So, if you wanna stay more dedicated, more committed, and show up even on the days when you don't feel like it, make it simple, make it easy. Just start with, all I have to do is put my toe in the water. All I have to do is step inside the gym. All I have to do is take the homework out of my book bag and put it on the desk. And you would be surprised that when you don't feel motivated, but you start doing actions, motivation rises up. Because motivation is a feeling, and a feeling is just an emotion caused by chemicals in our brain. And when you do an action, you create a reaction. That reaction is the emotion of motivation. Here's how this works. If you go to the gym, even when you don't feel motivated, but you pick up the weight and then put it back down, your brain will create chemicals that tell you, do it again. And then you do it again. And it creates more of that. And more of that, and more of that. And before you know it, you feel motivated, not because you felt motivated, but because you did something that made you motivated. This is why, if you think about doing something, if you think about achieving your goal, if you imagine yourself being in the NFL, getting that girlfriend, getting that boyfriend, having that life you want, you start to feel good. Because emotions are a chemical reaction that happens in your brain. That is what they are. So, if you want to do what you need to do, even when you don't feel motivated, start thinking about how good it's going to feel when you have the goal, instead of thinking about how hard it's going to be to get there. If you think about how hard it's going to be, your brain will make you go, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do hard things, because hard things are painful. The brain does not want pain. It wants pleasure. Thinking about how good it's going to be when you have the goal, when you have that six-pack, when you have that relationship, when you take your grades from an F- to an A+, when you get into that college, when you start going to trade school, when you start that business. Thinking about how good it's going to be, your brain goes, that is pleasure. Your brain wants to feel good. It does not want to feel bad. So if you feel unmotivated to do the thing you know you need to do, start thinking about how good it is going to feel to have accomplished the goal, instead of thinking about how hard it's going to be to accomplish the goal. The last point is this. Every time you don't feel like doing it, do a little more. When you don't feel like showing up, show up regardless. When you don't feel like doing the homework, do it regardless. When you don't feel like talking to that person, do it regardless. Why? Because your brain is a big old wet supercomputer and it can be reprogrammed. So when we do things that we don't want to do, even when we don't feel like doing them, it teaches our brain that we can do things regardless of how we feel. Yes, it is a lot easier to do stuff when you're motivated. It is a lot easier to go to the gym when you feel like it. But we're trying to become the kind of people who do not need to rely on feeling like it, and instead we're able to do it because we said we will. Now, when you do this over a long enough span of time, the brain realizes this. It realizes that I can show up regardless of how I feel. And taking that to the last point, well, to the point before this, would be make it easy to start. Make it very easy to start. Focus on getting your toes in the water, not on trying to become the next Michael Phelps. We want to make our goal something that is easy, something that is, well, we want to make it easy to start, avoiding the pain of thinking about how hard it's going to be. Focus on the pleasure of how fantastic it is going to feel to have achieved that thing. And you want to focus on that feeling in the now moment. The brain cannot understand time. I know how weird this is going to sound, but your brain does not understand time. All it knows is now. If you think about the past, you remember the past, but on a chemical level, like when you do a brain scan, the brain only feels now. So if you have the goal all the way down there, if you have the feeling of achievement all the way down there, if you have the excitement of, I will feel good when, I will be happy when, I will be good enough when, it's all the way down there. We want to think about, I am right now. We want to focus on, how would it feel to be in the NBA? How would it feel to have that loving relationship? How would it feel to be a multimillionaire? How would it feel? And bring that feeling into the now. Feel it now. Feel it before the bank account catches up. Feel it before you have the thing that you want outside of you. Because inside of our mind, the brain sees imagination, like something that is vividly imagined. It feels it as if that is real. And feelings and emotion are energy in motion. So when we create the feeling and the emotion in right now, it makes us get in motion to the thing that we're trying to bring into our outside world. Before I had this webcam and this camera and this office and all this stuff, I felt it in that moment. I allowed myself to feel, how would it feel to achieve that goal? How would it feel to speak at these schools? How would it feel? And I replayed that feeling. I felt proud of myself. I felt accomplished. I felt good before I had it. And those emotions put me in motion to achieving the thing I wanted. So to recap, make a schedule. Feel the strong emotions in that now moment. Do not put it all the way down there. Put it in the now moment. Feel how it would feel now instead of, I'll be good enough when. Make it very easy to start. Focus on how good it will feel to have it instead of how hard it is going to be to get it. With that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Go out there. Be the person that you want to become. Focus on the feeling right now, not all the way down then, and make a schedule, please. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're looking for my books, one-on-one coaching, or to book me as a speaker for your podcast, school, or organization, you can find all my information in the links below. Have a great day.